It was one of the groundbreaking promises of MPP's manifesto in the run-up to the 2016 election. One village, one dam, an initiative targeting the 5 regions to the northern part of Ghana. The northeast, the northern region, the savannah region, and then the upper east and upper west regions. 570 communities were targeted, each one to receive a dam that would help the farmers in the area continue to farm all year round. Revolutionary. But 4 years in, how well has the NPP government done in fulfilling this promise? If an Oxfam-funded study is to be believed, not very well at all. As we are told by the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, that 90% of these dams are only fit for domestic use and for livestock. Is that what the promise was? Is that what the reality is on the ground? One man has the answers. He's our guest tonight on Upfront. Before politics, he was an academic, a fountain of knowledge in agriculture. Today, Minister of State responsible for agriculture in the Akufo-Addo administration. Our guest tonight on Upfront, Dr. Nura Jele. Good evening. There's a lot to talk about. The One Village, One Dam initiative has been in effect for a number of years now, but the feedback has started to come in. And what we're hearing is that what is on the ground is either not fit for purpose or not what was promised. You, of course, hold a unique position where you are responsible for part of the implementation of this initiative. Talk to us about the reality. What do we have on the ground today as One Village, One Dam?
Thank you very much. Well articulated. We don't deny that we put in our manifesto the One Village, One Dam program, and we specified this was supposed to be for agricultural purposes, to help farmers. The major objective is to make water available and accessible, not just available, but accessible to a lot of the rural population who are basically into farming activities in northern Ghana. We said we're going to give them, as you said, 570 dams. That's for 570 constituencies, each constituency receiving 10 dams. Now, there are criticisms about the method of implementation and the suitability of the dams. And let me first come to say, the One Village, One Dam, we said we're going to provide the people one dam. Nobody specified the type of dam. We have been seeing dams all over the place from the time of independence. We have the big, large dams, we have the small F dams, and we have dugouts. Now, what happens is, as we made the promise, we had to go and do a technical feasibility in each of the villages to find out where you can site the dam.
So that was done after the promise was made?
Yes, when we took power, well, surely. It was after we took power, we started the implementation of the One Village, One Dam, and the first step was to identify suitable sites where we're to do these dams. We went around those sites, and let me add, when you talk of an irrigation dam you can do, but very few areas in Ghana are suitable to host an irrigation dam, which most people do not know. You cannot construct a well-functioning and efficient irrigation dam everywhere, for the fact that it must have a slope for the water to flow. It must have a big catchment area to be able to impound a lot of water during the season. And it is mostly those areas which have a valley and have rivers flowing through. If you travel around, how many of the villages have a stream flowing through? Not all. But we are determined. We said, even during the manifesto planning, we said that the mere fact that you don't live in a village with a river, you should not be deprived completely of water. The access to water should be a universal right for everyone, and particularly those who wish to go into farming. Now, we come back and define the farming. Almost in the northern region, because it's a savanna land, almost every farmer does crops and does animals. Surely we are not doing irrigation for maize farming and others, but mostly the vegetable farming. You will see in this country, when it's dry season, okra, pepper, tomato, we are taking everything from Burkina Faso. When you go to Burkina Faso and see the example, they have almost every village is producing in the dry season. And ask the question, what are they producing from? In Ghana here, when you go to a Volta region, around Amunaga area, they have been producing a lot of shallot for this country. Do they have a dam? The question is no. All they have been doing is using tube wells that they sink in the ground, and the water that comes up, they fetch in buckets. Some of them have small motorized pumps that they pump out the water. When you even go to the northern savanna, dry season farming has been going on. The farmers themselves have been using buckets. They go to a valley where it is still wet in the dry season and dig a small hole where they get the water and start fetching to irrigate. But they do only smaller areas. And we said, if that is the case, these hard-working farmers who have been using buckets and small pumps and whatnot, it's better we impound much more water for them. That is first the aim of the One Village, One Dam. Those dams are not utilized only to produce vegetables. It depends on the interests of the community. Several dams are in the north. Some of them are not being used for that. But then, in the farming community, we are interested in the overall welfare of the farmer. For him to produce the crops, he has livestock. The livestock sometimes travel to several villages, to the streams, looking for water in the dry season, and they end up not coming back. They are stolen. Right. So one of the aims of the One Village, One Dam is to make sure that for the farmers of every village, water is provided at their doorstep.
Doc, it sounds like what you're saying is that the NPP in opposition made one promise.
Yes.
And then when they came into government, they discovered that the promise they had made is not feasible. So they had to alter the purpose of it to make it more feasible.
It's quite feasible. Just patience. In a minute, I'll come to why I'm saying this.
Right. I'm interested because you talked about how some villages are just not suited for a dam. They don't have a stream, they don't have any of these things. Should the NPP
No, they are not suited for a large dam.
For a large dam.
For a large dam.
Right.
Every
for a
village,
dugout,
yeah,
it's okay.
Not, you can, it's an F dam. It may not be as large as those we have been seeing, but it's an F dam.
Or a dugout.
Well, it can be, yeah, you can do a dugout everywhere too.
Yes, that is the language used on your own website. Actually, no, let me be clear. It's the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives.
Exactly.
They are the ones who are funding this exercise.
Yeah, this is F dam.
Yes, I just want to read this. It says a total of 570 sites have been identified for the construction and rehabilitation of small dams and dugouts.
And dugouts.
By the end of 2018.
Yes.
So,
and that's what I was explaining, that where you have a stream flowing through and a large catchment area, you can make the dam.
Yeah.
Where you don't have that one, and we said that we want every village to have an opportunity to impound water, we have built a smaller size than those with the streams. Nevertheless, they collect water. And I'm saying that each of those 570 can be used for irrigation. That's why I took you around to show you about the people in Namronga using tube wells, and they are irrigating. And people in the north using buckets. It depends on the type of irrigation you are talking about. You see, what everybody has conceived is those dams we see where they go and open a valve and the water is flowing through, gravity irrigation. But we are moving away from that kind of irrigation because you impound 100% of water and the amount that you utilize for crop production is only about 5–10%. Most of the water they open flows away. Because some farmers, because they want to take the lead, will go and open the valve and go and sleep.
To flood the land.
Flood the place. The place is over-flooded and it's flowing away the whole night and they come. So this time, we have new forms of irrigation. The sprinkler irrigation, who you see people using even in their houses. And we have the drip irrigation, which is a precision irrigation and uses very little water.
I want to bring up the specific criticism that this recent study funded by Oxfam and conducted by the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, the specific criticisms that they have leveled against the project. And there are a number of them, apart from the fact that they are suggesting that these are smaller than what is practical. They are also saying that there wasn't enough consultation with local assemblies, with the scientists, you know, the topologists and all of those people who would help to determine what kind of dam would work for which kind of village. How do you respond to that?
There was enough consultation. You see, the point is that irrigation development in Ghana, there's only one institution that has been mandated with the authority to do irrigation development. And that is the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, which happens to be under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. They were part of the lead institution with a consultant who was hired, and they all went round these villages. They did the site identification and everything, and a design was done. Now, what happens is these things were supposed to have been identified by the development authorities, the 3 development authorities. But at 2017, when we were starting this project, the development authorities had not yet been fully built up. So what happened was the ministry under which they operate, that's the special initiatives, that's how this project went to that ministry. The development authorities have been implementing it directly.
Right.
So the special initiatives ministry with JIDA started the identification in communities. And when somebody says district assemblies were not informed, the people who are accusing us there's not enough consultation, I think they didn't do any consultation. Because even if you do any findings or you are going to, you have any problem, they should have consulted us to explain to them. Because the district assemblies are the ones who chose the villages. Because you imagine that it is 10 dams per constituency. So it's 10 communities per constituency. But each constituency in this country, when you take the whole constituency, has more than 200 communities. How did we choose them? It was the district assemblies who chose them. And so even wanted to take the contractors, listen, because the contractors that applied and whatnot, each district wanted to choose contractors that they knew and thought they could do a good work for them. So there was enough consultation. And as of now, the construction, and this is supervised by the district assemblies under the development authorities.
This is interesting because one of the members of the team that did this study made an observation, and I want to share it because this is from an article in businessghana.com talking about this study.
Okay.
And it says, and this is Ms. Ade Alabi, she's the Youth and Gender Desk Officer at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. And she says that insufficient water and low reservoir capacity, as well as poor siting of the dams, not conducive for farming, and with no canals attached, affected the usefulness of the dams, particularly for dry season farming. She recounted a situation where some of the respondents in some beneficiary communities had told the contractors to construct the dams in valleys, but the contractor allegedly refused with the excuse that their equipment could not work in a valley. So this contractor, in this example, ended up situating the dam in a place that is not useful to the farmers.
I can't accept that because the site selection is done by the technical people. The contractor doesn't select any site. Since we started constructing dams all the way. But let me say, Peasant Farmers Association, that you are asking, who is their specialist in dam construction? Do they do any irrigation? You see where they have jumped to a conclusion. They've said that the dams were poorly constructed, no canals. That is where I hold break. The moment you say no canals, it means you've gone to be judging the dam for gravity irrigation, which I've said this is what we are moving away from. You construct canals and just open water, and they all drain away through canals. Right. We want to do sprinkler and drip irrigation. So in other words, you see, before you go and see something, you have to come and ask us of the objective. I say, this is what I'm doing with this objective. And you judge me based on the objective. And again, if I tell you that the number of dams that we are doing, as of now, we have given out 437 dams. 30 of these dams are about, they've reached 50% completion. 69 are between 50 and 89% completion. 339 are between 90% and 100% completion. We have a total dam embankment wrapped with stones and boulders.
How many are actually complete?
That's what I'm just saying. When a dam is built and complete, you see that the dam wall, they have put stones and boulders. Otherwise, water coming will break it. 88 of those have got the stone and boulders wrapping the dam wall. That is what you can call complete. And any of these dams, if it is not wrapped with the stone and boulders, it means it's not yet complete. These 88 that are completed. Now tell me, if you go to do a research and you go and see a dam, how many of these have they visited? If a dam is not completed, number one, it cannot hold water. Number two, even when a dam is completed, as they went round, I also went round, you have to ask the people, when was the construction completed? I've seen that most of these researches they've done, I fault them by wrong questioning and the data that they collected. Because if you complete a dam in September in northern Savannah, the rain stopped in September.
But the idea of a dam is that it should be able to provide the farmers with year-round water. That's the concept, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
So at any time of the year when you go there, you should see a dam that is functional.
Not at any time. Not at any time.
So that means it won't give them year-round water.
No, if you are building a dam and it is not yet completed, it cannot hold water. But we are saying that once it's completed and it now holds water, it should last year-round.
Right, right.
But I'm saying that I've just read to you. Have you seen only how many are 100% completed?
In fact, you didn't tell us. How many are 100% complete?
I said 88. I told you.
You said how many?
88.
88 are 100% complete.
With the stone lining and boulders.
88 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
But out of how many? 437. So if somebody goes out and comes to say the dams cannot hold enough water, I am saying most of the dams they have gotten to are not completed. They can't hold water yet. And two, those that are even completed, if they were completed around August and September, they will hold some water, but they wouldn't have had the benefit of holding the season's water, so they will not be full. So you go and see little water and say the dam will dry out in 2 months.
So we're in 2020, a few months from the election. A promise was made in 2016.
Yes.
Now, out of the 570 that we're expecting, 88 are complete.
Yes.
You're not going to make it, are you? You're not going to be able to fulfill this promise by the end of this government's term, are you?
Why will we not fulfill it? If we have got 400...
4 years to do 88. How are you going to finish the remaining 400 and something in 4 months.
It didn't take us to finish 88. I have just told you that we have awarded 457, which are at various stages of completion. And even when I have said that 339 of them are between 90% and 100.
So they will be completed by the end of
you see that they are almost completed.
That's 339 out of the 570.
If you add that one to the 88, you have about 450.
Right.
Which sends us beyond 80% completion, if you take our main target.
So the 88, they are not out of the 339?
No.
They are separate.
That is why we say...
Then please go over all the numbers for us again, so we see if it adds up to 400 and the number that you...
I said that 30 of them are at 50% completion.
Right.
69 are between 50 and 89.
Okay.
339 are between 90% and 100%.
All right.
Then I added that total dam embankment wrapped with stones and boulders is 88.
Okay, so that's 438 plus 88. That means that you're looking at, well, that's actually 528 dams. But you said you've only given out 439.
437.
437. But the numbers you've given us add up to 528.
Which one? This 30 plus 69 plus 339. What does it come to?
30 plus 69 is 99. 339, that's 438.
438.
438. Then you add 88.
88.
So that's 528.
528.
526. Thank you. 526.
526. Yeah,
but you've only given out 439 contracts.
That's what I'm saying. That means that some of the 88 that have been wrapped are meaning that these 339 that are almost completed,
that's what I was trying to ascertain. Okay, thank you for that. All right, now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to look at another criticism that has been leveled against this all-important initiative. The suggestion is that the premise was flawed from the beginning, that what this part of the country needs is not a dam in every village, but a number of strategically placed dams to feed as many communities as possible. Large dams in strategic positions to feed many communities. Is that realistic? Our guest will tell us after these messages. You're welcome back to Upfront. Our guest is the Minister of State responsible for Agriculture, Dr. Nurat Jele. We're learning a lot about the One Village, One Dam initiative, which has come under some criticism recently from interest groups who suggest that, well, it's not working the way it should. Dr. Jele, thank you so much for your patience. And one aspect that I'd like us to explore is the concept itself, One Village, One Dam, the practicality of it. It has come under some criticism recently. Just on Monday, the General Agriculture Workers Union called on government to change the implementation model of the One Village, One Dam initiative. Edward Carrera is their General Secretary. And I want to quote him. He said, what we needed, was to have big dams so that you can link those dams to even longer distances, and that are sustainable for the future. So when government came out to say they are going to develop the Pualugu irrigation dam, we said that is what government should have thought of doing a long time ago. That is what the farmers want. And it is a more sustainable way to ensure an all year round water supply. Now, he described government's approach to One Village, One Dam as poor and a defeat of the intention behind the policy. He said that much as farmers need water for irrigation and agriculture purposes, they do not necessarily need a dam in every village. This is basically questioning the concept.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand. Edward Carraway is commenting on what is going on already. The irrigation development policy of Ghana, for which we are implementing, is not only the one village, one dam. We're still developing dams, like he's mentioned the Kwalugu Dam. There are other dams that we're doing, rehabilitating even those that we think we should bring back to production. Tono Irrigation Dam, where he himself comes from, it's 1,800 hectares, and for the past how many years, no production has taken place because the thing had been left to deteriorate. We are rehabilitating that one, state of the art now. The Pong Irrigation, Pong just here, Pong Irrigation Project, we are rehabilitating and expanding it to add another 1,200 hectares. We are doing Imprenum in Garu area, which is going to add 300 hectares. These are big-sized dams. But it's like the planting for food and jobs we are doing. You don't come and make a policy that concentrates on only large-scale farmers and leave the small ones. This country has been fed by small farmers throughout. How many commercial farmers do we have? Basically, between 2 to 5%. But the country has been sufficient in most of our staples because of these small ones.
But should we not be trying to create larger-scale farmers?
But that's why I'm saying it's a mixture. We are creating the large-scale irrigation dams. But this one we are talking about, I've also heard the recommendation. From their report, they were saying we should aggregate the small dams to get one dam. And now, imagine, you go to a constituency, and then you put all the 10 dams, the 10 small dams we are doing, you put them into one medium-sized dam. Would they satisfy their purpose? Maybe that is what they want. But for our policy direction and what we think will contribute more, you see, when you put a dam at one place, it's not just the water you produce. You'll be able to impound more water because you put a larger dam. But the land in that village will be finished. Yeah, the dam occupies a larger area. The farming land that is in that place, all other farmers in the other villages in the constituency cannot all come to that village, one village, and farm. Because if they come and they divide the land among the farmers, each one will be having just about this room. And the aim is defeated. And land is not something you can carry. It's not a clothing you say you send to a dam, wash, and send it home. So you can't carry your land, go to where the dam is, irrigate it, and send it back. That is why we are providing the irrigation, the water, possibly in the village for the people to farm.
So what you're saying is if you create a large dam in the constituency,
a whole constituency, one,
the land in that village where the dam is will finish.
Because we are, by their suggestion, it means we should create that one dam instead of 10. But if you create that one dam instead of 10, it means everybody in all the 400 villages in the constituency will have to go and use that one. But when they go there, the people in that village were already farming those lands. So if you come, where will you get the land? I mean, they have to share out to a larger number of people. And I'm saying it's not possible. You know, it will create conflicts. Who is going to give up his land because there's now irrigation? So it's not possible what they are suggesting.
Now, what the government is doing with the smaller dams and the dugouts and so forth, it seems that the intention here is to stick as closely to the words in the promise as possible, rather than provide what is as practical as possible to the farmers. Because these are the end users. The Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, they are the ones you are building these things for. So if the customer is telling you that what you are giving me will not help me, why are you still bent on doing it?
We all here, the mere fact that I'm a minister does not remove me from the agricultural society. I'm a farmer myself. I produce a lot. I come from a village. And everyone who has grown in a village you have the same experiences and whatnot as the farmer. It will not be because you are formed an association, you are a more experienced farmer or a more stakeholder than me sitting here. I was the chief director for this ministry before I even became the minister. And I have used so many years of experience. We have done several dam pump schemes, gravity schemes, and whatnot. I've traveled the whole country wide, interacted with these farmers and whatnot. And we've come to identify what we think the farmers need. Let me tell you, during the NDC time, just the past government, there were these small dams. They were making dugouts under what they call GSOP. That is Ghana Opportunities Project. And they said through labor-intensive methods. They were using hands to build these dams. How can you use hands to compact soil that can take mass of water that is coming? All of them got broken down. So I'm surprised that people like that are criticizing our dams, because what they were doing are frog ponds. Frog ponds.
That's
and not
interesting.
dams.
So what you're suggesting is that you're also a customer. You, the minister, you are also a customer,
we all
just
use
like them.
Yes.
So what you are doing is to satisfy customers like you, not customers like them.
And now I'm telling you that we are doing it to satisfy the smallest of farmers in the village.
They are the ones saying that what you are doing will not work for them.
Some of them have
Peasant Farmers
they haven't
Association of Ghana.
I challenge them. We can go together. Some of them have never gone to the farm like I go almost every week. I'm out of this office and go to the field. And I'm saying that when you go and see the farmers themselves, without these dams, but trying to grow vegetables and whatnot, what the farmer owns is not bigger than this room. So you normally will go to see what somebody is doing, understand his difficulties, and provide something that can elevate him from what he's doing. Maybe because now water will be more available, he can double this one. But you don't go and look at Europe and look at somewhere and say, what we need is large-scale dams.
Do you think that's what the peasant farmers are doing?
They're
looking at Europe and saying they want what is in Europe?
No, they are looking at the dams that have been given, large-scale dams. But I ask, go around the country and those that they call some large-scale dams we have made, they haven't contributed 1 hectare up to now. That's why I'm saying, number one, before you can get that large-scale dam, it has to be far removed from any village. I don't know whether you understand me. Because you can't do a large-scale dam in Accra. When you go to a village too, you can't do a large-scale dam in the village. You will have to go far in the bush to be able to get that land to do it. And now you expect people to get up and walk 10 kilometers and listen to that dam. So most of those dams are sitting there not used. And that's why we are bringing them closer.
Okay.
But before you bring them closer, they can only be smaller, because you can't build a large one in any village.
So this is what the lead researcher and lecturer at the Department of Geography and Resource Development at the University of Ghana, Professor Joseph Yaro,
yes.
This is what he is saying about the smaller dams that you are giving them.
Yes.
He says that they are only good for domestic purposes and livestock rearing. This is what you are giving them.
That's
and they, after doing a study of what you are giving them, speaking to the people who are going to use what you've provided, they are telling you that what you've given us is only good for domestic purposes and livestock rearing. Is this not feedback that you want to act upon?
No, I have told you his research finding. Professor Yaro's research finding is based on the fact that he says they cannot impound enough water for irrigation. And I've already answered that to you.
That will happen. They will get enough water.
Yes, because you went and saw the dams, just look at the water, the amount of water there, and says they can't impound enough water. When did this research take place? The rainy season in the north has just started. And it's going to last up to September. So if you go to do a research maybe a month ago and whatnot, In the dry season, how can water come into that dam, even when they are finished constructing? It's just putting in our mind that, oh, it's a very small dam, so we can't impound enough water. And I said again, it's dependent on the method of irrigation you are going to use. If you are using it economically in drip irrigation and sprinkler, it will not go as fast as with the gravity.
Right.
And so that's why that criticism that it is not suitable for dry season irrigation, I don't believe it. They should cross to Burkina and see. I say people have got this tank they call ancre and all those things, where they fill with water and use it for irrigation.
Right.
People are using wells to irrigate. And that's why I started my conversation when you felt I was diverting.
Oh, no,
I said, for example,
point.
yes,
Yeah.
because if people are using well water and are able to irrigate like 1 hectare, some 1 acre, how can you continue to say that that mass of water impounded cannot be used for irrigation?
So let me ask this. Each dam cost $250,000, is that right?
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis, thank you. 250,000 Ghana cedis is the cost of each dam.
Yeah.
But these dams are in very different communities with different characteristics, different topography, and the water table and all of that different. But you seem to have issued a sort of one-size-fits-all for each village with a fixed cost. They are going to build specific types of dams in each of these villages. Does that not indicate that you are not tailoring this to the individual and unique needs of the end user?
No, that doesn't show that one. You must, it's a prototype, it's a dam. I awarded a contract of 250. You have a supervisor. The consultant is with you. The engineers are with you. We all know that the ground conditions are not the same. The soil conditions are not the same. Somebody may go to the site they have shown him, and it's rocky. The amount of time and money and whatnot he will use to achieve that one will be different.
But it's still 250,000.
No, the contract sum is 250,000.
So they have to work
it's always
within that, no
plus,
matter what they find when they get
no,
there.
it's 250,000. It's a plus or minus, but because you are being supervised and whatnot, if you hit a rock, you call the consultant. The consultant sees it and creates a variation for you. That is adding money.
Right.
Because what they didn't also know that this rock was under there. So those are the things. The mere fact that they mentioned 250,000. It's like building school blocks. They give you a constant sum, but people finish and the payment is different. So it's not like tying the contractor, you must use the 250,000.
Yeah.
But if you find a reason that the dam you are given a drawing, and you must follow the drawing. If the drawing is going to be more than the 250, based on the conditions you met, a consultant will prepare a certificate.
What do you say to the criticism that there was a disregard for dam safety issues, adverse effects on the environment due to the felling of trees to make way for the construction of the dams, loss of farmlands, destruction of wetlands, and in some cases, as well as dam designs not based on the topography, which we've talked about already. But this disregard for safety, they give a number of examples here, talking about how the way they were constructed does not make way for easy access to the dams. How do you respond to that?
You see, that is a research that goes around and contradicts itself and one, because when you talk of dams, the World Bank for some years now, the IMF, have come out strongly against these large-scale dams because of environmental impacts. They say they have negative environmental impacts. Once you impound that amount of water, you see that malaria cases increase within and all kinds of things. The deforestation is even larger when you talk of these huge dams. Now, you go to see a plot. It's like an architect going to build. He looks at the land and sees what he can fit there. Now, these villages are there, and we are doing the small dams, that brings almost no distraction. Because you look at what is available and fit it there. And they're complaining about environmental concerns and all those things. Compare that to the large-scale dam, like you are going to say Palogu and whatnot. You can't compare at all. I think we are rather minimizing environmental impacts by going to these small dams. If we could use boreholes, because now you have solar-powered boreholes that can irrigate up to 5 hectares. If we could use boreholes, we'll even do it, and still the environmental impacts will now come very, very low.
Dr. Giela, this is how I hope, Dr. Giela, forgive me, this is how I hope we could wrap things up. I want to know, this is feedback that is being given to you. Is there any of this feedback that you and your colleagues at the ministry are going to act on?
For sure. The people are asking for small dams, bigger dams. That is those who say they are representing the broad masses of the farmers, even though we are also with the farmers. We have taken it in good faith. We are always in the field working with them. We are more widespread. If you have an association sitting in Accra and making comments, but remember the Minister of Agric is in every district of this country, in the selection and everything. But yet I'm saying we've taken it in good faith. We'll go back for consultation, because when you start a program, I mean, you'll be getting the feedback and this thing. It's not, we are answering to them because of where it is coming from. But we also get feedback from our own district offices. And that's what I'm saying. We are now going to do a thorough assessment after the dams are completed. It's been difficult to assess a dam when it is not yet completed. That is more reason why you don't hear so much from the ministry, because it's an ongoing thing. And if we start a building project, for example, let 1 or 2 be finished. Concentrate your comments on the ones that are finished. And then we will take it in good faith. But if you are saying that the program, which has 400 and something, 500 dams, and you are saying they are not suitable, I don't think it is so. We must say maybe some of them, there are some problems, and we can concentrate on those. But to say that they are not suitable, then I think that we don't have the same objective. And the consultation should have started with them consulting with us as a ministry. What is the objective of these things you are doing? And if we tell them the objectives and they go to a field, but you see, they've gone to a field and they've set their own questions and they've answered them. They've set their own objective and they're answering it. Their objective is that we are developing gravity schemes, which is not our objective. That's why we are answering back. But we will take a look at all these issues they've raised and see how best we can adjust if there is any need to make the program move forward.
Dr. Giela, I can't thank you enough for your time. We've certainly learned a lot, and we appreciate it. Let this be hopefully the first of many conversations on this matter.
Thank you very much, too, for the concern that you have shown. At least this is what we call partners in development, that the messages you bring to us and carry back will help all of us to design better programs for the benefit of the broad masses of our farmers. Thank you.
Well, if you live in the northern part of Ghana, in the northeast or the northern region, the Savannah region, the upper east or upper west region, One Village, One Dam was designed for you. We're 4 months to the election, and the government is confident that even if you don't have a dam in your community now, there is a dam coming soon, a dugout coming soon, something useful for your farming coming soon to a village near you. Thank you very much for watching.